Today I thought of a name for my documentary. I decided on Lost in Time, Living with Dementia. I thought of this because my granddad often forgets who he is, how old he is, what year it is, and so on. And so therefore I thought it would be quite appropriate, and sort of Lost in Time sort of defines dementia really. However, I thought that Lost in Time on its own is really generic and it's a little ambiguous really. So I decided that it wouldn't really attract an audience if I just left it at that, which is why I added the colon and the subclause of living with dementia. I feel that the title sort of includes all of the relevant information that a title needs to have really, and it's relevant to the content as well, which I think is sort of the most important part. I've also decided that the font I'm going to use for my titles, so when I'm introducing a person being interviewed, and the title of the name of the documentary, and also the facts on screen that I'm going to have as text. All of those fonts are going to be Bell MT. This is because I feel that it suits the content really, and it isn't too formal, it isn't too informal, it's just a neat font which doesn't look too harsh, and it's quite inviting as well. I also thought more in depth about what camera angles I'm going to need to use, so I sort of came up with a list, and this sort of goes alongside with my documentary storyboards and the script that I've written for it as well. So I'm going to start with a wide shot of a busy city, where I'll then have a split screen over the top of it and put text on it, which the facts the voiceover is going to say will appear on. I'll then zoom out of a picture of my granddad as the voiceover says his name and introduces him. Then I'll have a medium close-up of my granddad in hospital, sort of having a drink, and it won't be face on, it will be from the right of him, so that it doesn't look too staged, and so it gives the effect of verisimilitude really, where what the documentary needs, so it looks like it's real life, well, which it is, but yeah, but it looks like it's not being purposely filmed. I'll then have a high angle of a wide shot of my grandma's kitchen, as she's just going about her everyday life. So this shot will also include a zoom in it, which is another coding convention. This will then cut to an interview of her from the right of the screen, and as she finishes talking I'll then have another wide shot to show her leaving her house, and I'm sort of using the Kuleshov effect there because I'm then going to cut to footage of a bus driving off, so it gives the effect that she's going to be on that bus. This will then cut to another interview with my grandma, and then again from the right of the screen. After this there will be footage of my brother entering my nan's house, and it will cut to an interview of him, which will then have a wide angle of him and my nan sort of embracing really, because they haven't seen each other for a long time, and then it will cut to another interview of him again from the right of the screen. After this there'll be a wide shot, no it won't, but after that it will then develop into archive footage of my granddad moving around the screen, which is a coding convention. There'll be zooms, pans, many different movements really. I will then have my final interview, which will be with my mum, but this possibly could change depending on what I think fits best. I've primarily included wide shots because with it being a documentary I want it to sort of look as real as possible, so it doesn't look too staged. Wide shots are also a coding convention, But within these shots there are high angles, low angles, zooms and pans, tracking shots, everything really. This is so that the codes and conventions are still being used throughout without it looking too staged, and also profile shots, so sort of like half of the face head on, so from the side. They're a code and convention which I'm going to try and use as well when I do my filming, so sort of when my nan's in the kitchen cooking her tea, which is what one of my shots is, I'll try and film some of it from the side of her face to include that code and convention as well.